One of the things I like to do sometimes when I'm feeling creatively blocked is to go outside, grab the camera, and take just one focal length. Maybe a focal length that I don't normally use, that I find difficult to use. And this can really force you to kind of break through some of the boxes that we tend to put ourselves in as filmmakers, as people that create things. It's easy to kind of get used to what you're used to, get used to what you always do, and repeat that process over and over again. Now, granted, you're always going to have your own style, you're always going to have your own look, and that's not what I'm talking about here. But sometimes it's nice to go out with a tool that you don't normally use and see what you can create. And I know for me, a lot of times I end up with different and unique angles that I wouldn't have normally thought of if I had gone out with my normal lenses. And that's exactly what I did in this video. I grabbed a 75mm Cine lens, a Super 35 Cine lens with an RF mount, threw it on the C70, manual focus, and went out and just tried to create something using only that lens. And thank you to Sirui for sending this lens out. It is their Nightwalker 75mm Super 35 Cine lens. I got it in the RF mount. Even though Sirui did send it out, I'm not required to say anything specific. I can give you my honest opinion, and that is exactly what I will do. I would never want to mislead you guys into buying something that I wouldn't personally use. So you're going to hear my honest opinions, and you're going to see for yourself. This entire video, except for this talking head, was shot on the Sirui 75mm lens. Now I'm going to talk about this lens in this video. I'm going to give you a good review of it and give you my thoughts and let you see a lot of image samples as you've already seen. But I also do want to spend some time talking about going out with one focal length and really what that can do and challenge you as a filmmaker. So let's talk about this lens. My first impression was the fact that, man, this thing is small. For a Cine lens at 75mm, I was expecting something much larger. And that's the thing you get with most Cine lenses. They're massive, especially the really, really nice ones. And it takes a kind of a whole crew and a kit to really make work. And I was really pleased with how small these lenses are, but they do seem well made. They're made of aluminum construction. It does not feel like a cheap toy. The focus throw distance is great. The focus gears are really high quality. It's a super smooth focus ring. It's set up exactly how you would want it. And every other lens in this Nightwalker line is the same size in the sense that all of the focus gears are lined up. So if you're interchanging, you have a whole kit, you can swap them out. You don't have to realign your focus motors or anything like that. So that's a nice touch from Sirui on this. And these lenses are considered budget Cine lenses. The 75mm in particular goes for around $385 US, and that's a great deal for an entry-level Cine lens that I really do think punches above its weight class. Now, before we go into the image quality of the lens, let me bring you into my perspective on kind of how I view things like this. The fact that this is a sub $400 lens, you need to control your expectations for what the image is going to produce. There's going to be imperfections. There's going to have to be some corners cut for them to be able to offer this lens at the price that it is. So your goal for this is to hope that the pros outweigh the cons with a lens like this Nightwalker series. And I honestly think that they do. I was blown away with how sharp these lenses are. Now, for some people in a Cine lens, you don't want a super clinical sharp lens, but I think with a camera like the Canon C70 that people complain about being a little bit soft, these lenses pair perfectly well. You can see for yourself, this lens is really sharp, especially in the middle of the frame. And for me, I love a good artistic look. So I'm not a super technical guy. I'm not gonna be measuring the sharpness at the edge of the frame versus the middle. I just go, does it produce a pleasing image to my eyes? Do I like color grading it? Do I think the bokeh quality looks nice? And I think all of those things are true in the case with this lens. This is not an endorsement for the entire Nightwalker line. This is just for the 75mm version in particular, but I was really impressed with the quality of this lens. Even my friend Nemo, who was in the video, when I texted him some screenshots from this footage, he was blown away by the quality of the bokeh and how good it looked. And the colors on this lens are really nice. The contrast levels are good in my opinion. And the cool thing about this lens is it is a T1.2. So you have a ton of options for low light shooting and shallow depth of field. Now, being a 75mm and T1.2 is really hard to manually pull focus and shoot at the same time at T1.2. So I've usually lived around T2 on this lens, and I found that the contrast levels there were great, the sharpness levels there were great, and you still get that shallow depth of field from the T2. And I thought that was the sweet spot for being able to pull focus off the barrel, kind of running gun, as I was doing in this video. Now, you will get some flaring that is pretty obvious with this lens, and that's kind of comes with the territory of these more affordable lenses, especially the Cine lenses like this. But I've used the Rokinon Cine lenses in the past, all of those more affordable lenses like that. And this one, to me, by far, is the best one I've ever used in this price range. You guys know, if you've watched the channel for a long time, I love my Sirui 50mm anamorphic lens. So I've been a Sirui fan, and I really do think they're doing some cool stuff with these lenses, especially for the money. I would be really interested to go out and shoot a project with a whole kit of these lenses. I think they have a 16mm, a 24, a 35, a 55, and I believe this 75. So I would be interested to shoot a whole project with these to see if they're all consistently this good and how well they actually match together, because a lot of the problems that you'll see sometimes with these more affordable Cine lens packages is that the lenses themselves don't match that well, and there's some differences between them. They're not as consistent as you would get in a higher end kit. And again, Sirui did send me this lens for free, so you can argue that they paid me with the price of the lens, but I would tell you guys my honest opinion. I would never want to ruin the relationship that we have in terms of trusting me and my opinions on things. I would not want to recommend something to you guys that I didn't like myself. So I'm being honest, I really do think it was a great lens, and I would say this even if I bought it off the shelf with my own money. So now moving on to just shooting with a 75mm lens in general. I think that's something we don't really do, especially today. Wide lenses have kind of become the craze, especially with social media. You see a lot of vertical shots, a lot of vertical content shot with like 16mm wide, which is cool. I think it's great for talking head, but it's nice to kind of slow down, punch into 75, and you're forced to be really intentional with your shots because handheld footage is hard, especially with a lens that doesn't have any stabilization and a camera that does not have any IBIS built in. I have some digital IS in the C70, but I don't really use it. Obviously, tripod shots are an option. You could do some dolly shots, especially if you have someone pulling focus, but even running a dolly with this lens and having to pull focus yourself would be kind of difficult. So you have to think through your shots more, and you have to think, okay, I can't just get this close focus distance to the shot. I have to step back and find a good composition that's pleasing. What I found the more we shot was that I was able to get some close detail, some intimate stuff with this lens, like close-ups on the face, shoes, etc. But I was also able to step back and get some good medium shots that it gave you some context about where we were, what we were doing in this little sequence. And I thought it turned out really cool. Many of you, like myself, have had an 85mm lens over the years, and we have the classic 50mm. And we've had the 24-70s that kind of give you the mix of both worlds. But then, you know, that 75 kind of sits in a unique spot. And my friend Stuart on Instagram pointed it out on my video. He commented and said that it's kind of like that sweet spot between 85 and, 50. And I 100% agree with him. It's like that perfect sweet spot between those two focal lengths to me. And I really enjoyed shooting with it. I think it's great for like profile and portrait type shots while also being good for some good medium shots and some good like just gathering distance shots. I really enjoyed the shot on the bridge and the little walkway. It kind of gives you context of depth. And I just really loved the way it looked and that focal length. And so I'm kind of excited to explore that a little bit more. And in general, doing this exercise of focusing on one focal length for one whole project was really good for my creative workflow. I had kind of been in a rut. Work's been really busy, been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And it was nice just to get out with a friend and just shoot some stuff and have a good time and just get back to the basics. And sometimes that's just what you got to do. I know I've been quiet here on YouTube for a little bit. You guys seen some short films that I've been posting, but for the most part, I've been quiet and I have not done much talking to camera stuff in a while. And I want to get back to some of this stuff in the right context. I still don't want to be reviewing gear all the time, but I think if it's the right context, like a lens where I can really use it, get creative with it, and then talk about how it affected my creative workflow, that's the stuff that I'm interested in doing. I don't want to just get into reviewing gear just to do that. There's plenty of that out there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not something that inspires me. And I want to create more short films and give you guys more behind the scenes on the stuff that I am doing. I have some cool ideas and some cool projects that I think I can shed some light into and give you guys a look into. But I'm really excited about the future of the channel. I think 2025 is going to be a big year. I want to do more creating, more short films like I've been doing at the tail end of this year. I just want to do them more frequently. I have a lot of ideas and I'm excited about where this can go. But again, I do want to thank Sirui for sending this lens out and let me try it out. I really do appreciate it. I think it is a great option for a budget Cine lens. I really want to check out some of their other stuff as well. So I may hear more videos about that if I can get my hands on the other Nightwalker series lenses. But that's all I got for this video. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this footage and this lens, and if you use the Nightwalker series lens. Am I late to the party? I have no idea. So let me know in the comments below. But that's all I got for this one. I'll catch you in the next one.